On RPM this week, we bring you Rallycross from Nuts Corner, where the supercars battle with the mud at the P&O Ferries Ulster Rallycross Grand Prix.
Welcome to the P&O Ferries Ulster Rallycross Grand Prix. Today we're concentrating on the heats and finals for the modified cars on this revised Nuts Corner circuit. The reason for the revision is to provide more overtaking opportunities for the drivers and a lot more excitement for us.
Come rain, come shine, the British Rallycross Championship has come to Nuts Corner, and with it, 3 classes of modified cars to entertain us at the Antrim Borough Council's recently revised track. The divisions are up to 1400, 1400 to 1650 and over 1650. In the smallest modified class, it's ancient and modern.
When these little cars come out, don't go to the burger van. This is the fun racing, and it is very, very close racing.
You're very competitive?
Very, very competitive. Our times are not that far off the 1600s. You know, we're not in the same class, obviously, as the big boys, 600 horsepower, but these are tiny in comparison. Excellent vehicles.
The Larne Motor Club have made considerable changes to the Nuts Corner track.
There's more overtaking opportunities now. That was one of the problems of this track because it's so narrow that there just wasn't the same opportunities for overtaking. The drivers are very excited about it so far, the ones I've been talking to this morning. We had a test day, but it wasn't under race conditions, and this is the first time we've used it under race conditions. So it'll be interesting to see just how it develops.
The track is now 50% loose and 50% tarmac, with gravel sections at the top of the course lengthened and straightened to encourage overtaking.
The 1400cc runners, and Mark Kay from Durham gets the worst of the weather in his heats. It's frustrating stuff, particularly when his car is mysteriously cutting out. The conditions, if anything, got worse for the final. Kay and Mike Dresser in the yellow Metro are on the front row, but it's Paul Hebden in the yellow Mini on the second row who really hit the headlines and the fence. Paul and his Mini survived to take the restart, and Mark Kay and Mike Dresser charge off into the deluge, which engulfs Paul's Mini, handing the lead to the Metro. Simon Bales was second in the Peugeot, followed by the Mini Brigade, but poor Kay could only sit in his damp seat and curse his luck. Dresser from Cumbria had the big advantage of being able to see, whereas the Darlington driver who followed him had to guess where the track was and his opponent. Dresser dropped it in the Metro in lap 2, slithering wide onto the grass, letting the Peugeot through. Then Russell Crompton challenged for second place and was successful. However, you can't take anything for granted in these conditions. With the cars sliding about all over the place, the Surrey driver is about to go grass cutting. And that lets Dresser back into second. Bales continues to have the big advantage of being able to see where he's going. Cars behind are struggling here, and Dresser almost makes the same mistake again. But this time, he gets away with it. Simon Bales survived to win the 6-lap mudbath and take the under 1400cc final from Dresser and Russell Crompton.
Former supercar driver Mike Turpin dominated the up to 1650cc modified class all day. And now it was Gordon Rogers' time to exit stage left in the final. Peter McArdle and Andrew Scott also had a rough ride. And in the end, Turpin was almost robbed of victory by local man David Aiken from Rich Hill.
In this one, we're looking back from one big Irish hope in the over 1650cc modified class, David Francis, at another, Norman Beggs. It wasn't Norman's lucky day, however, as the Dramara driver retires his ex-Clive Richardson Vauxhall Astra on the third lap of this heat. A new meaning in the expression tired and emotional.
And so to the final for the large modified cars, and Seamus Murphy from Larne making a very good start from the outside. We're on board with David Francis, and that's just how murky it is. And right on our tail, David Cook from Aldershot. Francis looking cool, calm and collected. How could you believe it? In the second of the cars there, the Red Escort. And going round the outside, Brian Cook. Crazy man. Cook gets it very wide indeed. Just behind him is Kieran Pearce in the Fiesta from Darlington, and behind him again Alan Harbour from Cranley in his little Nova, and the Porsche 911 just not getting grip in these conditions. But Seamus Murphy leads. In second place, Davy Francis, so it's a Ulster 1-2 in the British Rallycross Championship qualifier. And you can see how desperate it is, fighting for grip. These powerful cars, turbocharged, rear-wheel drive, and Cook is on a real attack. Cook coming up alongside Davy Francis now for second place. This is part of the new track. They've eased that bend. It's faster up the hill, but not really on a day like today. Cook getting a little bit sideways there, and he's trying to go round the long way round the outside. That's not going to work, and it didn't. But Davy Francis not getting grip out of the corner, and Cook slingshots back. He's got to come off the power. A real tank slapper from Brian Cook, I should say, from Aldershot. And he gets it on the track, but he's a long way back, and surely that's the end of his threat. And he seems to be now dropping back into the clutches of Alan Harbour, who's got ahead of Kieran Pearce in the Fiesta. For a very short moment, Harper off the course on the outside, and it's desperately slippery out there. No problems for Seamus Murphy, who now has a comfortable lead. Delighted man, no doubt, from Larne in this Larne Motor Club event, dominating this final at the moment. But oh so easy to make a mistake. This is the new course. We used to go left and then right at this point. Now it's a big long right-hander all on the loose surface, and then rejoining the tarmac just about here. Straight run at that. Early on the brakes today, and here's the Porsche 911 of Mike Borner. Really no grip, and power and embarrassment. Round he goes. But coming back on the attack, Brian Cook for a moment or two. This is really a crazy man in the Peugeot 205. And that was the leader there. Seamus Murphy is off. Still Mike Borner is stranded. But look at this. This is now the battle for first place. Or was, because Brian Cook's gone crazy again. So, there's no doubt about it. Davy Francis is getting it all his own way at the moment in the URO Escort. On he goes onto the last lap now, off the loose stuff, onto the tarmac. Can afford to brake really early for this one. It's exactly what he does. He must be careful here, because this is where the previous leader, Seamus Murphy, lost it. So Davy Francis easing on the throttle, just trying to, catching it on the opposite lock, takes the checkered flag. Excellent win for him. It's going to be Brian Cook in second place, and Seamus Murphy recovering to third.
So Simon Bales takes the under 1400cc crown, with the larger modified classes going to David Francis and Mike Turpin. Ireland has really come to the fore in this sport in recent years. We've had Dermot Carnegie and Dennis Bickerstaff both winning the British Championship. You can add to that the name of the Dromore driver, Lawrence Gibson. He's recently won a round of the British Series. And of course today as well we've got Helmut Hohlfeld, who recently bought Will Gollop's famous 600 horsepower Peugeot 205.
It is fearsome. Everything happens exceptionally fast. You need your wits about you, and you certainly don't need to go to the pub the night beforehand. We were here 3 weeks ago to test the track. The track is a vast improvement. My only concern is the cutting up of the loose along the back here. But apart from that, they've done a fabulous job.
Well, this is the man who currently leads the British Series, Barry Squibb. Barry, you've had a great season so far.
Yep, touch wood, nothing's gone wrong yet.
And just how powerful is your car? What sort of horses have you got under the bonnet?
600 plus.
Now that seems to be about the max. People are talking about 600 as being the ultimate in rallycross. Can cars get any bigger?
There's not a lot of room. We could possibly get a bit more if we wanted to, but you sometimes have to forsake it for reliability then, so we tried to go for what we think is the happy medium.
We're running today with just the rally engine, so we're probably 300 horsepower down, so we'll just make up the numbers.
Sorry, just say that again. You're 300 horsepower down.
We're probably over 300 horsepower down from the top car, so
what have you got there?
we have got just 300 horsepower. Some of the top cars will be running 650, 700 horsepower.
So what difference does that make on the track? I mean, this is a game that's all about sprinting, isn't it, really?
Well, getting to the first corner, my car would be pretty poor. Once we get up to speed, it wouldn't be so big a difference.
Yeah, we're having a good season. We're third in the championship overall and we're first in the class overall. So hopefully we'll get a couple of good results this weekend.
And your prospects for today, who are the men you have to beat?
Well, probably the boys that's going well, Barry Squibb, Dermot, Helmet, well, anybody in our class, you know, they're all fast, quick.
John Haffey, who returns to the sport for his home event, is another that we have to put on that list. We join the supercar action in race 13 in the heats. British Championship leader Barry Squibb is on pole position.
And that's him on the left of your screen in the red Escort, and he makes a good start, but a better start by John Haffey. We're aboard with Gibson looking back at Steve Munday. And this is the new part of the course now when they turn left after the new start. A bit of touching between Haffey and Squibb. Squibb muscles his way through. Lawrence Gibson's in there also, and Munday just in behind him. So John Haffey in second place there on his return to the sport. A very good performance indeed. He's hired this car for the weekend, but Gibson now coming up to challenge and coming alongside Haffey and getting through on this new section as they come back onto the tarmac. Down, this section hasn't changed here, number 119, that's Gibson. And then a little bit more runoff space as they come off the tarmac there, and they're all using it as we can see. But Squibb really has got away here. Currently leads the British Championship, as we said. And this car, incidentally, is up for sale. So it's the Battle of the Metros that we're concentrating on in second place. There's Squibb, turning into the right hand. This part is just the same, but here, where they used to turn left and right, they go straight ahead onto a new loose section that is very fast, giving them more opportunities to overtake. But as you can see from John Haffey in the background, also more opportunities to lose traction. So Haffey really putting on the pressure, and of course the old problem on a wet rallycross track, and that is the problem of visibility. Haffey gets it terribly sideways that time. Squibb kicking out the tail, and another 3 or 4 car lengths away from the two Metros. Metros, of course, have been rallycrossing for over a decade. Amazing little motor car, and still competitive. And Haffey, very nice shot there as Haffey comes up to challenge again. One thing to get up to your opponents, another thing to get past. And the rain really beating down now. All four-wheel drive, of course, an absolute must for rallycross. Haffey again gets out onto that grass, probably not the best line. But here's Squibb, he really has this one all tied up. But of course, in the heats, what he wants to do is a good clean time, and Haffey coming out the outside again, making another challenge. As they come onto the tarmac, he gets right out onto the loose stuff, loses a little bit more time. Squibb gets the checkered flag. Gibson is second, Haffey third, and a long, long gap before the next man.
The other supercar heat contains our two Irish British Rallycross champions, Dermot Carnegie and Dennis Bickerstaff.
But it's Hallfeld who makes the good start. Hallfeld now in his Peugeot that he has recently acquired from Will Gollop gets it very sideways though as he came up the hill there, and in second place Dermot Carnegie in the Escort, and amazingly holding on to them Dennis Biggerstaff with half the power. Not such a disadvantage on a day like this. Jeremy Crush and Andy Grant follow the Irish trio. And it's Hallfeld getting used to this very, very powerful motor car indeed. Dermot Carnegie, his big threat. And this is definitely David and Goliath stuff. The David this time being Biggerstaff in that little Metro 6R4 with the rally engine on. Now, trying to get down the power. Carnegie making a challenge on the inside as he tried to get the power on early as he came back onto the tarmac. Up they come up the hill, a much quicker approach now to that chicane than it used to be. And again, Biggerstaff poking his nose down the inside, but Carnegie's too experienced to let him away with that. Carnegie now must keep it neat and tidy. He's got to get past this Peugeot if he's going to get a really good time here. But he doesn't seem to have the straight line speed. Look at the way Hallfeld got away there. Hallfeld a little bit late on the brakes though. And once again, these other two close up, and once again, Biggerstaff tries to go down the inside. There's a little bit of nudging there as they come across the loose stuff, and that's cutting up very badly. Now, watch the Peugeot go as they come up the straight line. And this is where Biggerstaff gets left. Look at the difference in horsepower there. So Biggerstaff, he really has to leave the brakes desperately late. And if anything, I think at the moment, Carnegie is slightly being held up by Hallfeld, enabling Biggerstaff to close that gap. Classic stuff here at Nuts Corner. Down they come, onto the tarmac again. It's very fast. They must be doing about 120 miles an hour there before they go onto the brakes there, and onto the loose once more. And Biggerstaff, who must have no vision at this stage at all, just probably finds his way around this track. And notice that he's not going over that loose stuff now. So he's obviously decided it's quicker to stay on the tarmac, and Carnegie making a challenge there. He's tried that twice. It hasn't worked. And he gets a little bit sideways there, so Hallfeld very much in control of things here at the moment, and indeed controlling the pace as Biggerstaff comes back again. Fabulous heat, and the people who have braved the weather here at Nuts Corner for the P&O Ferries Ulster Rallycross Grand Prix really enjoying this one as the Irish star in their home event. Hallfeld then turning off his wipers there for some reason as he came back, but he really has this one in control. But who's going to be second? Can Biggerstaff possibly get by? Not if he does that. And indeed, Carnegie very close again this time and trying the outside, but it's Hallfeld's heat.
The top drivers from the two heats now come together for the supercar final.
And we're looking at Carnegie in the white Escort there in the middle of the pack. Squibb is challenging. We're aboard Lawrence Gibson, who's well back down with Biggerstaff just ahead of him as they come up the hill for the first time. But Carnegie's got a really good start. Squibb second, Haffey third, then Biggerstaff, then our camera car. And you can see the wipers, the squirters working full time as Gibson gets very, very sideways there. Carnegie, though, very nicely out in the lead. He's really made an early break here. And that's quite a lead. And Squibb is throwing it all away, going very, very late there under the braking. He's lost second and third place. He hits Biggerstaff at Clout and slots himself in ahead of Gibson, who can't see a darn thing. And look at the background of the Metros all over the place. And Squibb taking advantage there, getting past, getting more traction. Number 117 there, the man who leads the British Championship. But he's going to be demoted today if he gets a real move on. And we can see that Dennis Biggerstaff has lost a little bit of his rear bodywork there. Gibson's still behind him. And the two Metros really battling it out as they try and stay with the superior power of the Squibb car. And Gibson's in problem. He can't see anything. He has to come to a halt. And that is desperate. So Squibb, now, once again, the hero of the hour, Dennis Biggerstaff, number 110 there, in the little Metro 6R4, 300 brake horsepower down on the two Escorts. But Dermot Carnegie from Dublin, former British Rallycross champion, really showing them the way home. And what about John Haffey? He'll be very pleased with this performance in second place. He's been doing Eurocar racing in recent years and really hasn't done that much Rallycross. And if he's done it in the smaller class. Lawrence Gibson now way back, got going again, but he really just tailing the field now. And this is the man at the head of the field, Dermot Carnegie, giving us a super display of how to tame 650 brake horsepower in these conditions, coming up almost to lap one of the slower English competitors to take the supercar final.
Now the super final, the fastest men of the day, and on pole from Dublin, Dermot Carnegie. Alongside in the front row, John Haffey from Portadown. Row 2, Barry Squibb from England. And Dramara's Dennis Bickerstaff. Helmut Holyfield from Dublin. And English visitor Steve Mundy complete row 3. And our camera holder Lawrence Gibson is the final runner.
And Lawrence is even having difficulty seeing anything before the action starts as the window mists up in the Metro. Look out for Dermot Carnegie in the white Escort, who makes a superb start. John Haffey on the right of your screen in the white Metro slots into second place. Squibb a poor start in third, and then it looks like Bickerstaff, indeed it is, and Holyfield way back there and really having huge traction and vision difficulties there. So Holyfield, the most miserable start of all, really dropping behind the field. Carnegie's away on a boat, literally, in these conditions. In second place, John Haffey, and there is poor Lawrence Gibson having a miserable weekend. So Dermot Carnegie sloshes through the mud at the bottom of the course, and you really have to be very careful in this section. Now they're all trying to stay off that new piece of loose to the left, because that's proving to be just a bogged down situation, as is beautifully demonstrated by Monday there. Dermot Carnegie starts his second lap of the P&O Ferries Ulster Rallycross Grand Prix, comfortably in the lead and fighting away at the controls there. Haffey is second place, just out of our picture. With Squibb in third place now, having pulled away of Dennis Bickerstaff, and then Helmut Holyfield, who really can't see a thing at the moment and can't make any challenge, a former heat winner. So, really, Carnegie has done exactly the right thing in rallycross, make a good start, and in these conditions, it gives you a double advantage. There's Haffey in second place. Again, a very creditable outing for him. And it was he and his father who have built this new track at Nuts Corner, and they're taking great pleasure in driving round it at the moment. Squibb still in third, Bickerstaff fourth, then Holyfield, and Monday heading for the tyres. Round he goes and loses an awful lot of time. So Carnegie, and look at the big slide on there. He's doing well over 70 miles an hour as he comes up the hill at that point. Back out onto the loose there again, crossing the racetrack that they use for motorcycles and sprint meetings here at the Antrim Borough Council's track. And then getting a little bit cut up now on this new loose bit, but it's very fast indeed. Then onto the brakes, swing her into this right-hander, onto the loose again. And then you can see it's a left hooker, this car, left-hand drive. That's because it's full World Rallycross spec, this rallycross car. And there's John Haffey still in second place. We'll see him just coming into view now. Great big slide, right out over the curbs, right out over the grass. Something coming off there, probably one of the under trays of the little Metro there. Squibb still in third place, and Dennis Bickerstaff, who really must be working on braille at this situation. But he better look out, because Helmut Holyfield is getting a little bit closer there. Bickerstaff trying to find a way down the inside. Haffey in second place there. And here's the battle for third. But you can see that Squibb, once he gets the power down in that four-wheel drive Escort, just darts away from the opposition. Meanwhile, Lawrence Gibson soldiers on, a very lonely man at the back of the field. So Carnegie completes another lap, up over the curbs, onto this new loose section. Up the hill now, controlling the slide, just putting the power down gradually. You can see the front wheels correcting the slides all the time. It's hard work in one of these rally cars. You really are absolutely physically drained even after 5 or 6 laps of the final. And look at the gap between him and John Haffey, way back now in second place, but comfortable position between him and Squibb. And Squibb is not really making very big inroads. Meanwhile, Lawrence Gibson tries to peer through the murk. You can see the difference when he gives the screen a wipe. And Carnegie takes the checkered flag and the super final. A complete clean sweep here at Notts Corner today. A very happy man, well worth his trip from Dublin. And there it is, Dermot Carnegie, double winner here this afternoon. Quiet man, doesn't make any great song and dance about it, but has enjoyed his motorsport for over 25 years. So down he comes to the adulation of the Larne Motor Club, who've done splendidly here in the adverse conditions.
We were lucky enough to have the right tyres with us today, and they worked very well every time. And once you get out in front, you don't have the visibility problems that the others have behind you, so it's certainly a big advantage. Certainly I like the new track, and because it's much faster and you can get it to flow much better, and I think it was certainly Cecil Haffey has done a very good job on it.
So Dermot Carnegie picks up the prizes after his triumph in the P&O Ferries Ulster Rallycross Grand Prix. And that concludes our coverage from here at Notts Corner for another year.